Welcome to 6 Minutes. Jason Fulmore, SC Wrestle. I'm here today with 2022 national champion, Zeth Brower of Lander. Hey, Zeth, how are you?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm okay. I haven't had as quite an exciting of a week as what you just had.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting weekend, Pretty big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah,
Cool.
no. Well, it's a big deal for lots of different reasons, and I want to get into why it's a big deal for lots of different reasons. But before we get into Lander and being the first ever for them and what that means and all that jazz, um, you've been you've been on a roll, man. I mean, you won a junior college national championship out in Clackamas in Oregon, and then you followed up with this. I guess first and foremost, is there a difference in the experience between the two?
Yeah, there's a lot of different, I guess, aspects if you would think about it. Junior college is smaller, competition is different. Overall, as far as the hard work and dedication, it's on the same level. I guess that just kind of comes with who you are as a person and how hard you work. But the tournaments are a little different compared to this last tournament. I had some pretty tough competition, probably the toughest I've had in a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So having been in that position before where you've won a national title before, did you come in with like a lot of confidence, or were there still nerves, or what was it kind of the mindset coming in?
I like to think that I don't have too much nerves going into that stuff. Being that I was there at JUCOs and performed on the stage, like you definitely get a feel for it. And I personally, when I go out to wrestle, when I'm relaxed, I do the best. And I've kind of over the years of wrestling, I've kind of figured out how to master that.
Yeah.
Whether it's just a small open tournament or the national finals, it's all just another match. So I've been able to kind of navigate how to go about that.
Yeah. So actually, I'm really interested in that because I know a lot of especially young wrestlers, their nerves get the best of them. Is there anything that's secret for you how you kind of approach it? Is it mindset? Is it listening to something? Is it what is it?
Personally, I don't listen to music before wrestling. A lot of people like to get in the zone or anything, but to me, like the tournament is the zone, like the whistle's blowing, crowd cheering, that whole environment. You got to be in that the whole time. When I put on my headphones and I'm listening to some hyped up music, and then I take it off and I'm like in a whole different environment then. So that part I don't really like.
Got it.
So I like to stay in the zone kind of the whole time.
Got it. I think that's good. I mean, but you got to work.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what works for you, obviously.
Yeah.
But
And,
yeah.
And other thing too that always helps me is, it kind of goes back to months and months before that tournament or before that match, like knowing that you put in all the hard work and every chance you got to do extra work, knowing that you did all that work, that should give you enough confidence to be in where you're at in that match.
Yeah.
And win or lose, you got to be able to walk off the mat and say, hey, I put it all out there. And sometimes the other guy's just better on that day. You just got to accept that. That's the hard truth of wrestling. And it's a very unforgiving sport, but it's the real deal. So,
Yeah. So I want to get to the tournament and talk about what it means to Lander and all that. But before we get to that, you're a West Coast kid. I mean,
yeah.
You grew up in, at least I know from high school, you wrestled in Oregon. I don't know if you grew up there or not.
Yep.
And Clackamas is out, out that direction. How in the world do you get to South Carolina?
Oh man. Honestly, just wanted to see somewhere new. I love to explore and travel. It's been a major goal of mine to get out of my home state. At least if it's only for a couple of years. And I just seen what they're doing out here at Lander, and my coach at Clackamas, my assistant coach, wrestled for Coach LaHaye back at GCU. So he kind of got me the in here and set it up, and we kind of just made it all work.
Yeah. So were you, you're moving across the country, you're going to a new program, all those sorts of things. How is the transition? Because this is your first year on campus, right?
No, so I don't live on where
Well,
I don't
no,
live
but
on campus at all.
no, but this is your first year at Lander.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So your transition, how is your transition of coming to Lander and that sort of thing and getting acclimated to kind of the expectations here?
It was smooth, I'd have to say. It wasn't too much of a shock or anything. I like the school out here. I like the team and everything. And culture is a little bit different out here. It's the South. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're going to have that difference, but I feel like I rolled into it pretty good. I love it out here in that aspect. Yeah, it was really a quick transition. Me and my girlfriend drove all the way across the country in a U-Haul, and we we rolled in here, and I went to school the next day, and season started up that next week. So I kind of just ball was rolling right off the bat, and was like nothing ever changed. Yeah,
and that's good, right? I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
Very cool. So for people who don't know, especially down here in the Southeast, they don't know Oregon wrestling. They don't really know Clackamas and all of that. But one of the things that I and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a one-time state champ, right, in Oregon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's so we look around and we see people with multiple state titles and those sorts of things. But, being a one-time state champion, grinding through high school, losing some tough matches, that has been probably really important in your development, I would think, and getting to where you are now.
Yep, 100%. And, I always think like underdog is hungriest, or the dog at the bottom of the hill, it's like kind of nice. It's always nice being at the top, but if you're at the top for all of high school and you get to college and you're like, oh geez, some of these kids are tough. And I've seen a lot of multiple time state champions get to college, and it's tough for them. And I've seen a lot of people that maybe win one state title and they get to college and they just thrive because they're used to getting gritty and have to work hard and figure out how am I going to do this.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great thing to talk about, because I think we get caught up in how many state titles and how many different things and all that. And I think one of the things that's really important, the message is that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day how many you have, as long as you continue to work and grind and that sort of thing. So for people who haven't watched you wrestle, I went back and watched your D2 matches from this past weekend. What is if you were to kind of characterize, what's your best position? Is it top, bottom, neutral? Where do you feel like you excel?
My whole life it's been neutral, and this past tournament it will say everything but that.
I know.
So that's I don't know. In the last 2 years, I've really been thriving on top. Bottom to me is a mindset. I look at it as a free point every match, So bottom is just really just no one's going to hold you down. Top is when you got to start tying in, some technique and style and a lot of different things. And then neutral, I love neutral. It's where I love wrestling at.
Very cool.
But
so what did now we're gonna get to, I don't know that I can overstate how important you winning a national title was for Lander. It's a young program, it's a new program, they're bringing in lots of really good talent and those sorts of things, but getting a national title is a whole other level. And you went from being the first ever All-American to then being the first ever national champion, all within 24 hours of one another. So
yeah.
Have you gotten any feedback about, or have you thought about what that means to the program itself?
I've thought about it a lot, and I know Coach and we talk about it, and we're really just I don't know. I thought it was really amazing. I came here with that goal. I really wanted to help put this school on the map and, put the South, because wrestling's not too big in the South. So I really wanted to come here and just kind of help put that goal and, put it into action. And so like to see it kind of happen, it's really special. You know, and the
Yeah.
school out here, they give you so much respect for it. We have so much support with our administration, to our facility, to our coaches. We really just put it together on all levels out here. It feels like a D1 program out here.
Yeah. Well, and you guys brought what, four? There were four of you that went to nationals. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I actually haven't visited the facility, but I've seen it online and it looks absolutely wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Just unbelievable. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So going into the actual tournament, you came in as the 4 seed.
Yeah.
Was that surprising or?
Well, and being that the year that I had, I knew I was like going to be top seeded, because I got injured early in the year. I broke my hand. I was out for pretty much all the season. Came back a month before nationals, a month and a week or two before nationals, and I kind of got to get down and grind to, secure at least a good seed. And luckily at regionals, I had a top 3, top 4 ranked kid in my bracket. So beating him kind of secured a good spot in the seedings for the national tournament. And again, seedings aren't anything, but they definitely help in some instances.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think are you referring to Christian Small? Was the kid that you beat, and then you get him in the quarterfinals. I mean,
yeah. Well, and that really confused me too, because all 3 out of the 4 kids on my side of the bracket in the quarterfinals were from my region.
Right.
So I was like, well, they could have split us, at least one of us on the other side of the bracket, but it's whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because you had beat him what 6-0 the weekend before.
Yeah.
And then is it hard to get somebody, I mean, Christian's a good wrestler. Is it hard to get somebody, the weekend before and then have to meet them in the quarterfinals and have to beat them again? Because they're,
I think rematches are always fun. They're fun to watch. And, always the person that loses, they have a bad taste in their mouth. So they're going to come a lot harder that second time around.
Yeah.
And, but the good thing is you fill out their style. So you know what works and what doesn't work. And, so that part, I just like rematches, they're kind of fun.
Okay. So you feel like you have the advantage in that situation?
It depends, because I know if I lose and then I have to wrestle the same kid again, I'm going to come after his head. So it's really 50-50, because you see rematches go the other way like a lot of the time.
You do. Yeah. So you win that quarterfinal match and you're an All-American, right? And you're like, I mean, was there an exhalation of, I'm now an All-American? And if there is, how do you turn the mindset to then saying, you know what, it's time to go win a national title?
Well, I mean, the mindset is always, for me at least, it was to win nationals. So getting the All-American was just another step in the process. It was it's nice, I'm like secured that. All right, one check off my checklist. It did give me a little relief. I'm like, all right, I made it here. So I know I can finish it out. I'm halfway there, so it's hard. You secure your All-American, you're like, oh dude, I'm good. I don't have to really do anything else, but you got to stay hungry and, be like, hey, job's not done yet. You made it this far. You got to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it totally makes sense, but there is, I would think, and I've never been there, but I would think that there's a little bit of, wow, I'm an All-American, and you kind of get that kind of sense of accomplishment, but you're in the middle of a tournament. So you don't want to rest on being just there. And I would think, trying to make that click has got to be one of those situations. So you walk into that semifinal match against the top seed. What is it, Joey Bianchi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bianchini, something like that.
Something like that. And, it's a tough 4-3 match. Did anything surprise you about that match? Anything that got to go? Did it go the way you thought it was going to go?
I mean, I knew it was going to be a grinder. I mean, he's coming in things like 30-0 or something, top seed. He's returning national finalist at that weight. I knew it was going to be a tough match. I knew he didn't exceed me in say talent or anything like that. So I knew it was going to be a good gritty match, just getting tough. And, obviously having the more mat time this year was a big factor in it, coming into the tournament with only like 13 matches, and those were split in half. So technically like 7 matches going into the tournament. So that
Yeah.
was, your timing's not fully there as of when you wrestle a full season, you're really just firing on all cylinders. So
Yeah.
I don't think my performance, I
Yeah.
don't think my
So
performance was like the prettiest, but
doesn't
got
really
it done.
matter though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we don't get judged by how good it looks. And then you get into the finals. And you took care of business. I think you got, was it a reversal in the last period?
No, I
That
got the takedown in the last period.
takedown in the last period. You guys went into the last period tied, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it came full circle, because actually, as I was watching the matches, I was thinking more top, bottom. You were really doing well on the mat, and now you're in that neutral position. But I didn't know that was the position that you liked the most. So, how confident were you going into that third period that was going to be your takedown?
I mean, I know, like, if you watched it, it's like, oh, he took me down twice. The odds are he's probably going to take me down this third time. But, I'll put my money, on me. I feel very confident in a 2-minute go on my feet. I knew I had to get in there, just lock into my shot a couple of times. The kid's very strong. So if I lock on with my broken hand, because I don't have the best grip strength fully yet. So if I locked onto this hand and it slipped very easy, but if I got this one, I knew I was good. So I kind of had to make a little mid-match adjustment there, and that kind of saved me there.
Yeah. All right. So you stand up and you've won. What's the first thing is there something that's first that kind of hits you as far as you being a D2 national champ?
I mean, just relief, honestly.
Okay.
Relief, excitement, everything. It's just looking over in the corner, seeing your coaches, their excitement. You look in the stands, I see my dad and my girlfriend and my other teammates, and and kind of the whole fact of being the first champion at the school, like that's that thought. I'm like, yes, like I did it, So all those kind of come in at once, and it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, no doubt. So I don't know if you know this, but back in the day, if you won D2, you got invited to the D1 national championship. Did you know that?
I was hearing something about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So can you imagine wrestling last weekend, winning, and then doing it again, but at a D1 national championship starting tomorrow? What would that have been so cool, or what?
I mean, I think it would be a grind because you're pretty beat up after the national tournament.
Right.
Yeah. So, but hey, I mean, I would definitely do it. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So can we expect to see Zeth Broward like win another national title at Lander? Is that the goal for next year? I would assume.
100%. I got 2 more years after this. So I want to finish my career as a 4-time national champion, 3 of those being at Lander, just really put a staple in this program and put it on.
So who are you going to drag onto the podium with you next year from your team? Who's going to be joining you somewhere on that podium?
Well, we'll be getting a couple more recruits. I don't want to say their names yet, but
sure.
Once they're for real, we'll get them up there. And my boy Elijah Lusk at 33, he'll be up there this year or next year, and a couple of other guys. Hopefully, I mean, they don't got to be around my weight.
Right.
Still help lead them to that level.
Yeah, that's awesome. So last question is, were you cutting any weight getting to the weight class this year?
Yes, not as much as 133 though. Man, that was a rough cut for sure. But after my when I was on the break with my injury, I got up to my coach probably won't like this, but I got up to like 167.
That's what
You
I was
know,
wondering. I was wondering,
yeah.
because you're on the shelf, and that's got to be hard, to.
Oh man,
So
yeah.
so you had to kind of really cut back and put your mindset back in that place to get back to not only wrestling shape, but to the weight class and everything else. You probably cut out a lot of things. Was there a celebration dinner after you won? And what did you go eat? Was there something you were craving?
Oh man, I was craving everything. I'm still celebrating all my dinners right now, but all it was crazy because after the finals there, St. Louis, like all the places are closed, and we get done at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So
Right.
we ended up just ordering pizza and hanging out in the lobby. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool. That's awesome.
I'm
You know,
Italian, so I love my pizza and pasta and stuff like that. So
so that worked. Awesome. Well,
yeah,
Zeth, I appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations. It is such an unbelievable accomplishment. And yeah, I just thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right.